Thousands of pro-democracy protesters blanketed downtown Hong Kong Wednesday night for one final rally in what appears to be the end of the city's Occupy movement, at least for the near future. Thursday morning, Hong Kong police started to break down barricades and clear the streets at the main protest site. A recent court order allowed authorities to step in after more than 2 months of the so-called Umbrella Revolution. CNN spoke with a couple of protesters who said while the current demonstrations downtown are moving to a close, the movement will persist.
I think it's the end of this movement, but the idea of democracy will still spread to the whole Hong Kong.
It's not about only occupying Central. I think it's a long-term movement.
Despite the large turnout Wednesday night, numbers have been dwindling lately compared to the more than 100,000 people who occupied the city during the demonstration's peak in early October. The protests began in late September after Hong Kong's legislative body announced voters in upcoming elections would only be able to choose from candidates who had been screened by Beijing, which came up short of the promise of universal suffrage. There were clashes with police from the beginning, with pro-democracy protesters storming a Hong Kong government complex days into the protest. A month later, police and protesters faced off again, with officers using pepper spray to disperse crowds in the Mong Kok neighborhood after the protests resurged. At one point, there had been plans to negotiate a deal between protest leaders and high-ranking officials, but with Beijing unwilling to change the screening rule, there wasn't much room for agreement. And it still doesn't look like the Chinese government plans to change course. Pro-Beijing lawyers have argued that universal suffrage doesn't include the right to nominate who you want. But according to one leader of the Hong Kong Federation of Students, the protesters don't plan to stay quiet.
As long as the government stick to the decision made by the central government, the Hong Kong society, in general, they will adopt an approach of civil disobedience, resisting the government.
For Newsy, I'm Jay Struberg.